Happy to be back. And today we have a very special class. It is a fun class, right? And it concludes the series of our kids kids webinars that we started several weeks ago. So the idea today is just to have fun, fully relax, enjoy, prepare your printout of your picture. And what I would suggest, just taking any picture. It could be a portrait, it could be your picture standing, like your full body picture, something that you can work with, and print it out in black and white and make it a little bit blurry so you have enough to work on. If it's too bright, it's going to be kind of dark to color it. And I'll show you when I switch to another camera, I'll show you what is the preference for the picture in a way that we expect it to be printed out. So let me start, right? And I hope everyone is ready. You guys have all your pictures next to you, your markers, your color pencils, and so forth. And let's fun begin, okay? Just give me 1 second. I'll switch to another camera, and we're gonna start our journey. And it's going to be a lot of fun, I promise. All right, here we are. Here you could see I printed out my picture in the business suit, and it's a little bit blurry, right? The face is blurry and the body is blurry. And it's nice because this way we can draw right on top of this without any worries, right? And on purpose, I have printed out my picture wearing business costume, and we will see what we can do with this, right? The idea is to create a masquerade costume for ourselves and enjoy the process, enjoy the fun, learn Neurographica on the way, and the final result's always surprising. We always see ourselves in a totally different light when we started, okay? So here's what I would suggest. In the beginning, you already learned how to do neurographic lines, right? We talked about that. So what I would do, I would start from that. And usually when I draw on top of my portraits, I usually start with the hairline because that's the first thing that dictates the future image, right? I would not jump straight to the face, start making changes, and then you know, finding myself a little bit disappointed and so forth. But when we start with our hair, then basically what happens, we just define the future look of our portrait, right? It helps us out to follow the line, follow the process, and on the way, we're gonna decide what costume we're gonna have, right? So why don't we start drawing? And the way I'm drawing immediately, what I'm doing is I am drawing neurographic line. And I would need to draw as many of them as I wish. And feel, right? Not to be scared at all, right? Don't touch your face yet because the face is very gentle and the face might not be the good option right now. So all we're doing is drawing the lines and enjoying the process. That's the whole idea of that. And I know the kids love and adore this method because it allows them to look at themselves in a different light, from the different perspective, right? So I don't know why I've chosen violet color. I guess because it's a winter costume and I really want to bring the spirit of winter here. I feel comfortable doing it. And now I just need to continue drawing my hair and connecting all the lines together at the end. So I hope you follow me, and I hope you are getting some interesting results already, as I do. You know, I can see like it's some sort of snow queen or Snow fairy. At least that's how it feels right now, with all this hair coming down. And we remember while we're drawing it, we're also thinking about good times that we're going to have with the winter holiday. The season is coming, Hanukkah is coming, Christmas is coming, New Year's are coming. Bunch of fun coming up, right? But first, we're going to have Thanksgiving, of course. And then we move on to winter holidays right after that. And you see how I'm doing it. Very, very gentle. I'm not even pushing myself for anything. I'm just drawing the lines and watching them flowing down. It gives us ability also to repeat on how to draw neurographic lines. They should look like rivers. And that's another reason why I like to start with the hairline, because that's exactly where we can learn and relearn on how to draw the lines correctly. It allows us to do that. All right, so, all right, I've got my hair. And now, if you remember what we need to do, we need to do all the rounding. We need to do all the rounding, and that's a fun part, actually. I love rounding because it gives the sense of calmness. It gives the sense of joy. You know, some people may get a little bit impatient with that in the beginning, but the more you draw in neurographic style, the more patient you become towards rounding part of the drawing. Some people are telling me that when they started, they hated it so much because it took them a lot of time to do the whole rounding thing. But now they're looking forward to this. They're saying it really calms my nerves. It makes me feel good. Makes me feel rounded and happy. And that's what we're going to do, right? We're going to round. Hairline doesn't have to be rounded everywhere, right? We don't have to do it. It's just, you know, whatever makes sense, whatever is obvious. We just need to round. Okay, and here I can make it even more visible at the hairline over here. And I'm continuing. I am drawing those lines, making them visible. You see how the image changes already. I haven't done much. What have I done? I've just created some hair, like putting a wig on myself, right? Like a winter queen wig, or like a winter fairy, you know, those two things coming up. While you're drawing, think about who you're gonna be on this drawing. Your drawing should be totally different from mine. I'm only giving you technique on how to do it, but you choose for yourself who you want to be. For me, it just became obvious once I took the violet color that I want to really create this drawing in the colors of winter season. And you see how easy it is when you really round it. Look, it becomes really pretty. Over here, look at this area, right? Or this area, or that area. It just looks prettier than before. And imagine when we're going to color it in the violet and blue color. I'm pretty sure it's going to look fantastic. And what are we doing here? We are improvising. I didn't think about becoming a snow queen or snow fairy. All I thought about that I want to have fun. But now I'm coming with this idea. And you know what? I really love creating stories out of my pictures. Let's say when I'm going to finish this drawing, I would definitely come up with some sort of story about who is that lady looking at me from the picture. And you should too. You should do too. You really need to think about the story you can come up with when you're doing this drawing and coloring. And then I would be very happy to hear your story. All right, that's about it. For now, I think we're good with the hairline. Now, you know what? Right now, I feel like I want to color it because I want to know how should I move on with this drawing. I need to pick the right colors for this to make it look pretty, to make it look like a frozen kind of queen. And I'm going to color first, and that would help me to come up with the rest of the drawing. And you could do too. Like if you have long hair like mine, I would suggest coloring it first. It would give you better understanding of your next step. And you see, like I have a gray color under from my picture, and that's fine. Let it be there. Who cares? At the end, we're not going to see any of those. We're not going to see a costume. We're not going to see anything of what you see right now. Maybe hands I'm going to leave, nothing else. Everything else is going to look so much different. And you see how I'm coloring it. Very, very easy. Just coloring, putting some color, and then I'm going to put another color. I'm going to mix my colors. And for you and for adults who's watching with me, with your kids, that's for you a good lesson also how to work with children towards this particular drawing method, right? Like if you want to have fun with the whole family, sit down, put your kids around the table, print out pictures of every family member, of yourself, and you guys have fun. You guys have fun. You try to color together and to draw together, and everyone will have their own image. And then you can basically create the whole family activity out of it. You can even, what you can do, you know, you can have a contest, and whoever is gonna win is gonna get a prize. So that's just an idea for the entire family to have fun together. So I'm coloring it, and I'm thinking about my next move while I'm coloring. Just want some light blue here. You know, it's gonna give me some snowy kind of icicle kind of feeling. The frozen queen. Right? It looks kind of funny now, right? We see this lady in a business suit with the hair falling down. That's fine. We just started, right? Soon everything is going to look very much different. And making sure that the face line is also visible. I just noticed that my hair didn't go through the entire picture. I just need to make my face visible here. That's what I'm doing right now, making sure I have better visibility. All right, so I've done that. And now, as I said, we're going to improvise. We're going to see, what is she wearing, this lady? What is she wearing? And we would need to think about it. And for that, I would need to choose the right color, number one. So what I'm going to use for her suit. And I'm going to start drawing, you know, again, improvising. So I guess she's wearing something. And you see, I just started drawing right on top. She's wearing something that makes her more like a queen. And again, I'm using neurographic lines for this. We need to get rid of the business suit here because the queens don't wear business suit. They wear like beautiful ball dresses when they celebrate holidays. They don't wear business suits. They wear them when they meet other kings and queens. But when it comes to holiday celebration, at the masquerade time, they really don't want to look like business people. They want to have fun like everyone else in the world. And we want to. We also want to have fun. That's why we're doing this project. All right. So you see already the shape of the costume kind of started to change, right? It started to change and transform to something more fun. What I'm doing here, I'm trying to kind of draw some sort of dress that's more suitable for a masquerade time. And basically what I've done, I just drew right on top of that. And I'm going to draw some more lines to that. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but at least I want to get rid of this suit-like features. And that's the purpose for me to draw that costume right on top. You know what I can do here? I can do some circles. You remember that when you were learning the first class, we were doing apple picking, if you remember, right? Okay, good, you remember. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. We're going to be drawing some circles to make it more magical. And then we're going to think about how we're going to color those circles to make it more fun. Apparently here some magic happens. I don't know yet what it's going to be exactly, but you already see we started slowly transforming into something totally new. And again, if you remember, once you have a shape crossing the line or crossing each other, what you need to do? You have a chart open, and what I see is that the kids remember that we need to round everything, whatever is crossing. And I just continue and continue. And you guys do whatever you need to do with your costume. You should not repeat after me. I'm just giving you the ideas of what can be done here in order to create a beautiful winter festive costume. And you know, the fun about this method, you can always create this type of drawing for any types of the holidays, for Hanukkah, right? For any other holidays that's coming up. Even for Thanksgiving, you can create some fun costume for yourself and for other family members. You can print out your mom's picture and make a gift out of it for her by drawing her costume. So that's how we're going slowly. No rush. We're just trying to define some beautiful features here. All right, we came up with some ideas. I don't know yet what they're going to be, but at least I have a placeholder for them. And here I'm going to also draw some more lines. You see, business suit is almost melted. It's almost not visible anymore. And I continue my drawing. You see, I don't touch the face yet because I don't know what my face is going to be. I just simply don't know. That's why I'm not touching it. I'm trying first to define everything else because the face is very easy to spoil. You will draw one face and then at the end you're going to feel sorry you did it because you really want everything else to be harmonious. And if for any reason the face is already done and your costume is not, then you may feel a little bit disappointed. So don't touch the face in the first stages of drawing. So here more or less I've defined the design of her dress. I'm going to color it and it's going to look much better than it is now when it's not colored. I actually want to create some magic. And the magic comes from from that kind of drawing when we nesting figures on top of each other. See, like what I'm doing, I'm nesting circles. And I'm even drawing half circles here because I need to show that my hair cover the circles partially, right? So here I'm not gonna touch anything at this point, and probably that would be something, some sort of jewelry that I will color as well. All right, you see how we're slowly transforming. And again, what I want to do, I want to color the costume first before I move on. So, and I'm going to start coloring it. And I'm going to start coloring in the areas where it's more easy to color. Okay, I don't know what color I'm going to use for coloring those circles that crossing. So I'm going to start with something easier. And you should do too. When you color your costume, find something that is easier to color and then move on. All right. You see how we're changing already? We're changing. And it's so visible that we do. There is no business lady anymore in the picture. More like some sort of Nordic Queen. Very simple, you know, Nordic Queens look very simple. They don't wear golden crowns. They wear something else, but not that. And the body, I want to color with blue. You see, like even with the single color, it looks very nice. We don't see any brownish printout anymore. Everything is covered under color pencil. And we just follow the process. You know, we don't know how the final costume is going to look like, but at least we can see some things changing already. And that's what the magic is when we're starting seeing transformation of the original drawing, the printout, and whatever it's coming up to. It's coming up to something really, really magical. Okay, let me continue. See, like what I'm doing here, I'm coloring the easy parts of the drawing, the easy ones, right? So I'm gonna color here as well. So it looks like she's wearing some sort of multi-layered kind of suit. And I continue coloring. Okay, and now I'm gonna make this part a little bit different. I'm gonna make it multicolored. How about that? And it's gonna look really nice. It's gonna look more like neurographic style drawing. You see what I'm doing to make it neurographic? Awesome. Awesome, you see it. You see how I'm coloring it? I'm not coloring using just a shape. I'm coloring it to create the flow of color. The flow that goes through the whole part of the upper body. I'm gonna do some yellow. Yellow always looks nice. If you really want to fresh up the image, you can always use yellow. It really makes the picture very nice and bright. And you could see it, right? You see I started adding yellow, everything started to shine. And what else you can do here? Let me see what else I can add, something maybe bright, because she's a queen. And it's a masquerade costume, right? So really I want to add some warm color as well to spice it up a little bit, right? To make it look more like festive costume. I hope you guys all doing great with this. I can't see what you're doing, but I'm pretty sure you're doing good progress as you've done before. And that's how it goes. You see, like there's nothing, absolutely nothing left in the body of this image. We don't see costume anymore, business costume. We don't have that business lady haircut. All we have is that beautiful, beautiful costume that's becoming up, you know. And it looks, yeah, that she started to look like a Nordic Queen in that. We can even add some red to spice up. Some red hot chili pepper I'm adding here. Why? Because, you know, it's a fun time. Doesn't matter if she's a Nordic Queen or not. Still, we want to bring some spice into the costume. Now I'm going to make her jewelry shine. You see that? So we're almost done with her hair and her dress. So now, when we completed it, it's a good time to start thinking about her face. How she's going to look like. You know what? I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, you know, I could add some black, you know, really, I feel like in this case, for me, it makes sense to put some emphasis on graphic part of it. I think it's, otherwise it's just too, how to say that? It's not graphical enough for me. I like when the costume has some prominent colors, and here, when I add black, you'll see what happens. When we add black, everything starts shining. You see that? Much darker this side versus this side. Already you could see how this one started to look more prominent. And you know what else it does? It really makes the drawing looks like a 3D drawing. Because you have that black color on top and you have all the other colors at the bottom. And really, really, when you look at it at the end, it really makes a huge difference. Because we need to round those lines as well. When you do rounding in black, it creates that kind of interesting combination of black with all these colors coming out. So nice and shiny. Specifically, you know, it's nice to outline certain parts. You see, like I'm making this more prominent as well. It's going to look more graphical with this feature. And more cartoonish at the same time, right? More cartoonish as well. You see, I'm rounding a little bit here and there. Even here, I can make it more like that. Because I'm going to add some white at the end here. And then everything is going to start really looking bright, much brighter than it is now. And I can even use neurographic lines on the costume as well. Most important that you're really trying to make your work neat. If you're not going to make an effort to make it neat, it may not look exactly as you desire at the end, and you may not like it. So what I would suggest, just pay attention on how you draw the shapes, how you do your rounding, how you coloring everything, and what do you do in order to make each color shine brighter. You see, like she's got the whole thing going on here in her costume, and this is the center point of the costume. And black only helps us out here to emphasize all other colors that are visible from the end, from the background. Don't forget about rounding all sharp corners. You see how things already changed so much? It's incredible. All right. The winter costume already at almost the finish point. I may touch it up a little bit. Now it's time to work on my face. And when I start working with my face, I don't want to touch it with the marker. What I want to do, I want to touch it with pencil first. I can always add a marker later. So she's got lips, and I would need to move slow in order to color them. I really don't want to spoil the feeling of this face. And of course, I can do some changes here. It doesn't have to be exactly in the way that it was presented from the beginning. You see, I'm already coloring her lips gently, gently. And the blue color for Snow Queen or Frosty Queen is a nice choice. So I'm going to stop right now here with her lips. I'm going to finish them later. And now I'm going to start with her eyes. And again, you don't want to touch it with the marker immediately. What you can do, you can start first with the color pencil. And I feel like coloring her eyebrows into green color. Okay, and now to the eyes, right? It's nice to have some sort of marker that thin enough in order for you to draw eyes. Let me try. I'm going to be doing this. You see, it's thin enough. If that would be a thick marker, most likely it would not look as good as this one, right? So here I'm going to do that. And we need to add some inner eye features. And also we would need to add some eyelashes. Already started looking pretty, huh? Eyelashes always make girls look pretty. As soon as you add them, they look pretty. Okay, so we already got something here going on. And what I would like to do to make her eyebrows here more prominent. And what else I want to do? I want to color her face in some greenish blue color to make The costume is more in the theme of the holiday season. A little bit. I'm not going to do the whole face, but just to give some highlights. So the face doesn't look flat. It has to look kind of 3D. And also I'd like to add some blue color here because it's a, again, I want to add some frosty kind of feeling here. Yeah, I think it's time to touch the lips now. With the same thin marker. What I can do, I can make those lips looking more prominent. You see? Something is really nice and easy. And I also can do our eyebrows. Just like that. And we see a different face looking at us. It's not Margarita anymore. Definitely not. But somebody who looks very, very familiar. Very familiar. You know, we can make hair look more natural by coloring them in a way that they create this kind of feeling of flow. Like we can see that the hair falling on her face here, right? And we can do same thing here with the pencil. I started to feel like when I finished coloring her face, and that's sometimes that's what happens. Like we thinking about one thing, and at the end we coming up with another thing. I felt like she's too kind of flat with this hair flowing just down. And I started to feel that that would be nice to have those hair, you know, have some puffy feelings, have some value that it didn't have before, at least around the face. You see, it became right away, like she became looking prettier with this. She needs more hair, this lady, apparently. And I'm doing it with the pencil. And then I'm gonna add a marker. I just feel like she needs that. And here's what you can do. Like once you finish with pencil, you can just go ahead and add some marker, add some hair towards her face. And she looks very, very pretty now. Very pretty, like a doll. To make it more wider here. You know, the girls nowadays like their eyebrows thicker. It changes with every generation. So we went through times when girls loved it very, very thin. But now it's time to wear them thick again. So that's why I made them more prominent here. And I'm adding some markers around her eyes as well to make them more visible. You see how easy it is? The fun part is that we're creating image while we're going. We don't know first how our portrait's going to look like, but as we go, everything changes. And more flow. No flow. We need to blend in what we just added. And, you know, she's almost ready, but she feels kind of lonely here. She's all by herself, and that would not be the right way, leaving her just like that. What do we need to do? We really need to create the field lines, if you remember, right? We need to create the environment where she fits very well. What do we do with this? We're going to start drawing some neurographic lines coming from her, because right now she looks extremely lonely. And while we're doing it, we can also be creative. It doesn't have to be just plain background with all these lines coming from her. It could be a background of some isolating features like polar light, right? We all love polar light because it is multicolored and creates the mood of the holidays. And you know, all I have to do is just to draw neurographic lines all over the place, trying to create a nice background for our Snow Queen. And look how realistic it looks, because we use the actual picture. You see the face, you see hands holding. It looks pretty neat. Some lines should be thicker, some lines should be thinner. All depends. There is no rule here on which lines we are drawing, as long as they're neurographic lines. You see, like a little circles never hurt. I personally love those little circles. They create a feeling of something going on the background. It's just not boring neurographic lines background. It has some features that I'm trying to show. And you always need to, when you do neurographic drawing, you really need to think about how your drawing is going to fit into the entire space of your paper. Like I have a nice size paper, and apparently if I would just leave her standing alone, it would not look as nice than if I would add the background of those lines. And when we're going to color them, we can be very, very creative, right? We can come up with certain features. You see, like I'm still adding those little circles that make the whole thing looking more alive and prettier. And I'm doing my rounding. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to just color a little bit all over the place. First, I'm going to use blue. I'm going to use blue and make some coloring with that. And here as well. You see, I'm moving pretty fast, yet I'm doing it very neatly. I'm not trying to create a mess. And the quality of your work will be defined on how patient you are. Are you patient enough to do this kind of coloring when you don't need to color the entire space? You just need to color around the lines. And you see how this picture already looks much, much cooler than it was before that. We're creating some sort of environment, some polar environment, because everything is colored in blue and green and things like that. That's what we're doing here. We are filling up the space, and we don't have to color the entire thing, but we need to give an impression of something going on in the background. And then it is much more fun. Are you guys having fun? You can just show me thumbs up or thumbs down. How you feel? Awesome.
We are good. We are coloring here too. We actually have a question.
Yes, please.
So your image was more like kind of like really gray, and your hair is more like light side. But what do you do when the hair is really black? So like, let's say we're drawing the lines here, but you can't really see the lines because the hair is gray. The hair is black.
Right, right. In this case, what I would suggest totally changing the hair. Let's say hair is black here, right?
Yes.
Then what you can do, you can create more hair right on top
I
of it.
see.
Yeah. So and then add another color to that. So totally change the way the hair look like on
Okay.
the printout, right?
Okay.
Yeah, by adding more neurographic lines.
Okay, I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. And we continue. I just love the way it's coming out. I love it. It's just, it looks really cool. So wintry, you know. You see that? Delicious. And I have no idea how it's going to look like when I start it, right? That's the beauty of
that
it.
was my next question. Did you know what you were doing when you
No,
started?
totally not. Like with any neurographic work, when you start, it's all about improvising. I had no idea what I'm doing. I started and then I led the process because, we're thinking about Neurographica as a process work, process drawing, flow drawing. So when we start, we creating the idea by adding lines, and more lines, and then the process brings us to the result. Some people, they really have an idea what they want to do, but once they start drawing, we see a lot when things are changing on the way. They saying, oh, I wanted to draw, let's say, a snow queen, and at the end I just drew a fairy tale princess, which is totally expected because you never know how your drawing is going to look like when you're going to add lines towards face, or you see, like I felt like adding more hair. I finished my hairline and then I finished her face, and then I was like, wait a minute, I don't really like how hair look like. I really need to add more hair. And with the whole drawing is just like that. You do, you work, you do your best, and then you come up with the result. And it was interesting because yesterday I was drawing together with the Russian community online, and we were drawing right on top of coloring pages. And when I was drawing, I thought I'm getting some like old lady from primordial times. At least that's how drawing looked like. But when I finished it, I realized that I am actually drawing some Mexican god. Believe it or not. You know why? Because the process brought me there. I thought that's what I'm doing, but as I colored it, I totally understood it's not about any old lady from old times. It's about Mexican god. Unknown, because I haven't met him yet in any Mexican places. So he's probably hiding somewhere in our subconsciousness. You see that? You see, like I'm adding a couple of colors to make it shiny. I don't know if camera can capture it, but there are two colors here. Some violet color and some greenish blue color on top. And already gives some 3D effect. And I can do some nice little circles here to make it look prettier. Maybe they are snowballs. Who knows? Who knows what it is? But it looks pretty. That's the most important. Some greenish color, you know. That's pearl green color. So I'm going to add some pearl green color. And some blue on top. You see? And already we're getting some very, very nice finished kind of drawing. We're getting towards the finish. And you know what, with time, I also became better with this. I would think this kind of drawing would take me about 2 hours to do. But now I'm doing it much, much faster because my skills already getting polished with this stuff. And yours too, If you do it pretty often, you would find yourself drawing pretty fast. I don't spend that much time now with all my drawings because I'm doing them much, much faster. Right? I'll add more color here. When you draw your own, right, I encourage you to try different colors and not to stick with just one style because it's going to get boring at the end. You know, I've been drawing those portraits. I probably have 5 or 6 of them already. And everyone looks very different. And that's what makes it fun. Always fun to have something different. What's the point of drawing in the same style all over and over and over again? You see how background changes everything, right? There was a lonely lady staying right in the middle of your paper, and there's no more lonely lady. Apparently there's something goes on in the background. Okay. How you feel? How parents feel? Because parents are here to learn and help their children.
This is lots
How's
of
that?
fun.
Could we do like a because what came out for us is like something like this. We were working on our.
Oh, so cool! Can I see?
We were working on my picture.
Right. I love it.
It looks better in reality than it
I'm
comes
sure.
across on camera.
It's so cool.
But we were thinking like, could we like do something because the way I printed my picture was like I had a mostly face.
Yes. But you can do either face or the whole body. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, not yeah. So like I was thinking like, what could I do with the face?
With the face, you can add a mask if you want.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That's all about masquerade. So mask. Or you can make your face looking a little bit different by adding maybe some features. I don't know. But mask always does well with this kind of things. Or like you could put a veil, right? You could put a veil on the face somehow, like, or maybe just the most part of the face. with the veil. I could do that. So I'm doing my final touch-ups here. And it looks really, really awesome. Really awesome. Doesn't look like me anymore, though. It was me, but not anymore. Not at all. Totally different.
Not at all. Someone different.
Totally different. And you know how much fun it is when you color it, you look at it and I'm like, goodness, that's not me anymore. Some lady is looking at me. Who's that lady? Who is that lady? She's gonna tell a story, I'm sure, later. See, like I love stories. The reason why I love stories is because it helps me to understand better what it's all about. Why this Snow Queen showed up in my life all of a sudden. Why now? Why not somebody else? I know I transformed her. She's no longer wearing her business suit. She's wearing something mysterious and beautiful. But it's not me. Definitely not. Yet she's powerful. She's beautiful. And maybe she's showing certain parts of me, my inner world. It shines through this drawing. So always nice to do final touch-ups. We are not scared to add color right on top of everything. You look what I'm doing? I'm just eating up color, making it iridescent. I don't care. I'm just putting it right on top. And I know it's going to look nice. There is no way to spoil it. No way. It gives nice touch-up to the entire drawing at the end. All right, so my dears, I think that's the final image. Now I feel like I'm satisfied.
Wow, it looks amazing.
It looks really cool. And I hope I'm going to see your drawings. Mariana already showed us her drawing, which is very nice. And Olga's going to show us later, I guess. She's not ready.
Yes,
But,
working on mine, thanks. So later on, I will try to post.
That would be awesome. And the kids as well, although they're on mute.
Yeah, they are, yes.
Mm-hmm. They're on mute right now for the reason, but I'm sure we're going to see everyone's drawing.
Yeah, we're going to post everything in the Facebook group.
In the Facebook group. Awesome. All right. All right. I hope to see you again in my classes, my kids' classes. And I'm sure I'm going to create some new exciting programs for you. And we're going to have fun continuously. Stop with that.
Can we have so much fun?
Yes, I think we can totally handle it. Why not?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely.
This is great.
Yeah, and I'm going to say goodbye from here, right? Because I don't want
so
to.
Much.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
This
and
was
I'll
a
see you
wonderful
soon.
class.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys.